Okay, this one, we're looking at the measure for angle TRP. Angle TRP is this angle that's right here. So I got to put both those two angles together. Well, one thing I can see, if this is a right angle, then these two have to add up to 90. So 3x plus x is 4x plus 18 equals 90. Subtract 18, I get 72. 72 divided by 4 is 18. So that makes this one, 3 times 18 is 54. 18 plus 18 is 36. This angle here is 90. I want TRP. So 90 plus 54, 144. For 18, I got to think about, it has to have at least one right angle and reflection symmetry. So, which means reflection symmetry means I can fold it over on itself and it will lie right on top of itself. Well, if I look at a rectangle, it has 4 right angles. So I get the first condition, and I can actually fold it across this way or across this way. So I've got a couple lines of symmetry there. Isosceles triangle, there's no right angles. Right trapezoid, okay, I got a right angle, but it has no reflexive symmetry. There's no way I've folded on top of itself. Parallelogram doesn't have to have a right angle, so I'm just done there. Square, okay, 4 right angles. All the sides are equal, so I can actually have lots of lines of symmetry. I can fold it across this way, fold it across this way, across the diagonals. All those will work. So A and E. Okay, when you're working with triangles, and this is basically working with the triangle inequalities. Okay, in order to form a triangle, the two smallest sides have to add up to be bigger than the largest sides. So if I use this side as 4, the two smallest sides be 4 and 8. 4 plus 8 equals 12. That's not bigger than 12. So 4 doesn't work. 8 and 5, this would be the next one. 5 plus 8 is 13. That's bigger than 12. That one works. Next one, if I have 8, 10 would be my next smallest. 18 is bigger than 12. That one works. Then if I take 20, well, that becomes the biggest. So if I do 8 plus 12, that equals 20. That's 20 is not bigger than 20. So D doesn't work. And 20 is certainly not bigger than 21. For problem number 20, what you need to do is draw out a triangle, fill in your angles. So we told that angle A was 68, angle B was 40. Add these together, I get 108. Subtract it from 180. My missing angle is 72. Your largest side is opposite the largest angle. So my largest side is AB. My smallest side is going to be AC, and the one in the middle is going to be BC. I want to go from smallest to largest. Smallest is AC. Then my middle one is BC. Largest being AB. Answer was E. Okay, that's your next break. So do the problems that are coming up. Okay. For this next one, we're going to look at our basic proofs. And we're going to be filling out all these different rules. So there's a lot of different problems for this one diagram. So we're going to kind of fill it in all up here, then answer all the questions. So first thing I'm going to do is mark up my figure. Angle T is congruent to angle P. So mark those. Side TD is congruent to PA. I'm trying to prove that RD is congruent to RA. So those are my two givens. Next thing I got to use is like for vertical angles or reflexive. So this angle equals this angle. Those are vertical angles. So what I've got to do is make sure I have R in the middle. So if I did TRD is congruent to PRA. That's because of vertical angles. The big thing is I'm looking for the fact that R is in the middle. So that's why that one was B. For 22, I'm going to put these pieces together. Well, what I've got is I've got an angle, I've got this side, got this angle. So that's where we're going to go over work with it. But on my figure goes angle, angle, side. So make sure it's angle, angle, side is what our solution is going to be. So that's going to be the reason for 23. For 22, I've got to make sure I get a correct congruency statement. So when I go to do it, I got to make sure that T matches P. So triangle T congruent to triangle P. So I might figure out what I have right here before even looking at what the answer was. R is going to match R. And then angle D has to match angle A. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for T matching P, R matching R, D matching A. So if I go down here at these problems, T matches P, D matches A, R matches R. So the answer where was C. Then reason for 23, again, you look at your figure, not at what happens up here. You look at here. This is angle, angle, side. Then finally, the reason why these are congruent. Once you've shown congruence, then there's two different ways you can actually write it. You can do congruent triangles, leads to congruent parts, or you could also see it as CPCTC. So both those are accepted. Congruent parts, congruent triangles are congruent. Okay, so let's look at another idea of congruence. It's going to mark up the figure and then figure out what else do we need to be able to show it's congruent. So JL is congruent to PR. JL, PR. KL and QR. KL, QR. Okay, so different ways I could do it. One way to do it is I get the third side. So if JK was congruent to PQ, I'd have side, side, side. So that was E. Then I also, if I'm going to use an angle and I have two sides, the angle has to be between. So angle L has to match angle R. So that would be C. Okay, this is our next break. So go ahead and do the problems that are coming up. Okay, problem 26 and 27 is on similar figures. Okay, if I'm going to go over solve for x, I need to match up pieces from my figures. So I know these two figures are similar. So I look at the angle marks. This side, this angle, matches this angle. We have a double mark one here, matches this. So x is between those two. X has to match up with 10. So I might do x over 10, if I do large one to small one. Now I'm going to look at matching something else, but I've got to go consistent. 18 is the one with a dash and a blank one. There's nothing here, so I can't use the 18. So I go to the 9. 9 matches, well, I've got a single mark and an empty. Single mark and empty is the 6. So if I look at that, that one ends up being D. You might see different combinations if you're not sure. Cross multiply, and then it'd be the same as a cross multiplication. So it has to be 6x equals 90. So I can check which ones will be giving me 6x equals 90. Or if I solve it, I'd have to solve it all the way out. It'd be 15. I know with x equaling 15. Okay, proving. We have three different ways of proving two triangles are similar. Angle, angle similarity. That's this one. Side angle, side similarity. And the other one is side, side, side similarity. So it can't be this one, because that's not a reason. So now I'm going to look at what we have. Well, I have a side, and an angle. So I can't use either one of these two. I don't have it. So I'm not going to be able to say yes. So I can eliminate A, and I can eliminate B. Now there's two possibilities right here. They might still be similar, but if they were similar, then the sides have to be proportional. So if I do the small side to small side, 6 over 9, that's 2/3. The next largest side is 10 and 12. 10 over 12 is 5/6. These don't match. So these figures are not similar because they have to match. If they were, they might be. Now, so it should be, no, they are not similar. Correct answer was D, not E. So the correct answer there was D. They are simply not similar. If they end up being the same ratio, they are both through 2/3, well, you cannot determine if they're similar or not because I might not have my angles matched up because I could take this side and like swing it over here, do weird things like that. So I don't know what's necessarily going to be happening with it. So we're not sure how the triangle is actually being formed. I should probably 10 over the other side. Okay, that's your next break. We'll have just one similarity problem to do and give that a go. Okay, now we have some probability and expected value.